Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into the history of a real guitar effects legend. It's this little green box, maybe unassuming, but it's shaped so many sounds and, well, it's just everywhere on pedal boards. Our sources gave us this really exhaustive history, tracing its whole journey, from basically filling a need in the market to becoming what many call a modern classic. So our mission today is to figure out why for you. What makes this Boss TR2 tremolo pedal so special? Why is it still such a go-to for guitarists all over the world? I mean, how does a seemingly simple effect pedal manage to have such a huge, lasting impact on music? On artists, get ready, because we're going to dig into what really makes it tick. Okay, so first things first, let's just quickly pin down the effect itself. Tremolo. At its core, it's just periodic volume modulation.
Yeah.
Like, imagine your guitar sound getting louder and softer rhythmically. It gives this, like, shimmer, this movement.
Exactly. It's that pulse. And what's really interesting is it wasn't always a pedal thing. Back in the day, I think 50s, 60s, it was often built right into the amps.
Oh, yeah, the classics, like Fender, Vox.
Definitely. Those iconic tube amps, they just had tremolo. It was part of the package. Players didn't even think about it. They just flipped a switch and got that wobble.
Right, it was just inherent to the sound. So
Yeah.
it was a standard feature. But then things changed. What happened, like, in the 90s? Why did it start disappearing from amps?
Yeah, the landscape kind of shifted. Through the 70s and 80s, amp makers started focusing elsewhere. More gain, channel switching, different effects, maybe like reverb or chorus built in. And integrated tremolo started to feel a bit old school, or maybe just not essential for the newer designs. So by the time the 90s rolled around, if you bought a new amp, odds are it didn't have that built-in tremolo.
Creating a gap.
A real gap, yeah, for players who still wanted that sound, that vintage vibe.
And that's exactly where the TR2 steps in. Perfect timing.
Absolutely perfect. It came out in 1997, and Boss basically said, here you go. A simple, tough-as-nails compact pedal to get that classic amp tremolo back into your setup.
Yeah, the classic Boss build quality.
Totally. It just bottled up that sound. It's a great example for you of how gear evolves, keeping those beloved sounds alive even as technology changes.
Okay, so we see why it arrived. It filled that need. But let's get into the how. How does this little green pedal actually make that sound? What's going on in the hood?
Well, the heart of it is a low-frequency oscillator, an LFO.
Okay.
That's basically the engine creating the pulse, controlling how the volume goes up and down. And crucially, the TR2 is an analog design. All analog.
Which is key for the sound, right?
It really is. That's what gives it that smooth, kind of organic, amp-like feel. People often describe it as warmer, more natural than some digital tremolos, which can sometimes sound a bit choppy or sterile, maybe.
Yeah, that analog character is a big part of the appeal, I think.
Definitely.
And it's famous for its simplicity. Just 3 knobs. Let's break those down. First up, rate. That's the speed.
Exactly. Rate controls how fast that volume pulse happens. You can dial it way down for these really slow, sort of undulating waves. Great for atmosphere.
Like a gentle swell.
Yeah, or you can crank it right up for a super fast, almost stuttering effect. Very rhythmic, very percussive.
So a big range there. Then you've got depth. What's that controlling?
Depth is all about the intensity, how much the volume changes with each pulse.
Okay, how deep the dips are.
Precisely. Turn it low, and it's just a subtle shimmer, a hint of movement. Crank it up, and you get these really deep, pronounced volume drops. Much more dramatic, almost like a chopping sound.
Right, so you can dial in just how obvious the effect is.
Yeah, exactly how much character you want.
And then the third knob, the wave control. This one feels pretty unique, especially compared to old amp tremolos. It's not just tone, is it?
No, not at all. This is where the TR2 gets really versatile, I think. It lets you blend between 2 different waveforms.
Okay, what are the...
On one side, you've got a triangle wave that gives you the smooth, symmetrical rise and fall, very classic, like those old Fender tremolos.
The smooth pulse.
Then, as you turn the knob, it morphs towards a square wave. And a square wave is much more abrupt. It's like an on-off switch. Hard, choppy, almost like a stutter or machine gun effect.
Wow, okay. So you can go from smooth to choppy and find spots in between.
Exactly. That ability to blend is what makes it so adaptable. Much more flexible than many built-in amp tremolos, which often just had one fixed wave shape.
That's a huge advantage. And one more quick technical thing, typical Boss. Buffered bypass, right?
Yeah.
Why is that important for you, the player?
Yeah, buffered bypass is pretty important, especially if you have like a lot of pedals or long cables. When the pedal's off, the buffer keeps your guitar signal strong and clear.
So it prevents that tone suck. losing high end.
Exactly. It helps maintain signal integrity through your whole chain. True bypass has its place, but in a bigger rig, a good buffer like the one in Boss pedals can be really crucial for a consistent tone. It's part of that reliability factor.
Right, those little details add up. But,
Mm.
the TR2 story wasn't all smooth sailing from day one, was it? There was a bit of a hiccup early on.
Yeah, that's true. The very first ones, from 97 into the early 2000s, they had an issue. A slight but definitely noticeable drop in volume when you turn the effect on.
Oh, okay. That's kind of the opposite of what you want sometimes.
Exactly. You kick on this cool effect, and suddenly your guitar gets quieter in the mix. Not great, especially live.
Yeah, I can see how that would frustrate players.
It definitely led to some criticism, some mods being developed to fix it.
So how did Boss handle that? Did they acknowledge it or just sort of fix it?
They definitely listened, but they handled it in a very boss way, quietly, effectively. Sometime in the mid-2000s, they updated the circuit. They fixed the volume drop.
So the newer ones don't have that issue.
Correct. The modern TR2s maintain unity gain. Your volume stays consistent, effect on or off.
That's good to know. So they listened to the feedback and improved it.
Yeah, it really shows their commitment to getting it right,
Hmm.
and that fix definitely helps solidify its reputation.
And it really stuck around after that, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's been in continuous production ever since, basically unchanged layout since the 2010s.
Still one of the most popular tremolos out there.
Easily. It just became the standard compact tremolo for so many people, a real benchmark.
Okay, so we know the tech, the history, but let's connect it to the music.
Mhm.
Who are some of the artists really known for using the TR2? Whose sound does it help define?
Well, a few names definitely jump out. Think about Radiohead.
Ah, yes. Greenwood and O'Brien.
Exactly. Both of them are masters of texture and atmosphere, and tremolo, often the TR2, is a huge part of that. It creates those swirling, moving layers in their guitar work. It adds that dynamic quality.
Yeah, you can definitely hear that kind of movement in their stuff. Who else?
How about Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys?
Oh, for sure. That gritty kind of vintage sound.
Tremolo is key to that sound.
Yeah.
He uses it to give his riffs that swampy, soulful wobble. It's almost hypnotic sometimes. The TR2 fits right into that aesthetic.
Right, gives it that pulse. And maybe one more.
Johnny Moore. From the Smiths, Modest Mouse. Absolutely. He's famous for using tremolo to create those really distinctive, rhythmic, jangly textures. It adds this shimmer and pulse to his guitar lines that became such a signature part of that whole indie sound.
So some really influential players across different styles.
Definitely. And beyond those big names, you just find the TR2 on countless pedal boards, especially in indie and alternative music.
Why do you think it's so popular there?
Well, it's affordable, it's reliable, it does the job really well. It's just an easy way for players to get that classic professional tremolo sound without breaking the bank or needing something super complex.
So it's just accessible and dependable.
Totally. Which means you're probably hearing it on way more songs than you even realize. It's kind of ubiquitous.
That makes sense. It's the sound that matters.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've established its legacy, but what if you, the listener, want something different? Or maybe more? Did people try to tweak the TR2
Oh,
itself?
yeah, absolutely. Especially with those early units that had the volume drop. Modders like Robert Keeley became pretty well known for offering TR2 modifications.
What kind of mods?
Well, fixing the volume drop was a big one, obviously, but also things like adding a volume boost, expanding the range of the rate or depth controls, sometimes converting it to true bypass.
Interesting. So people loved the core sound enough to invest in improving it.
Exactly. It shows how strong the fundamental pedal was, that there was this whole community built around modifying it and getting even more out of it.
Okay. But what if you're looking for something else entirely? What are some other tremolo pedals out there that people might consider instead?
Well, there are tons of great options now. If you want something really aiming for that super authentic, warm, vintage tube amp tremolo, you might look at, say, the Full-Tone Supatrem. That's a boutique favorite.
Right, focused on that specific vintage sound.
Yeah. Or if you want something experimental, maybe, the Electro Harmonics Stereo Pulsar offers stereo outputs and can do much more extreme wave shapes. Gets into really wild territory.
Okay, so going beyond the classic sound.
Definitely. And then you have pedals like the Strymon Flint. That one's super popular because it combines really high-quality tremolo algorithms with reverb algorithms.
Like getting two classic amp effects in one box.
Pretty much. It aims for that comprehensive vintage amp sound experience, but obviously at a higher price point typically.
So lots of choices out there, from boutique to more complex digital units. But despite all that, the TR2 still holds its own, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Even with all these alternatives, the TR2 is still widely seen as that modern classic. Why? I think it's that unbeatable mix. It's simple, it's built like a tank, and it's relatively affordable.
The core boss values, really.
Yeah, it
That's,
just nails that essential Fender or Vox-style tremolo sound for you in a format that works on any pedal board. Reliable, accessible.
it really is one of the benchmarks.
For sure, one of the most dependable and accessible tremolos ever made, still delivering those timeless tones.
What a story for just a little green stomp box. Starting back in '97, basically bringing back a classic sound that amps were losing. Going through that quiet update to fix the volume thing, cementing its reliability, and now it's just this constant presence on stages and in studios everywhere. The Boss TR2. It really proves that sometimes simple, well-executed design just lasts.
It really does. And, that leaves us with something for you to think about. In today's world, with all those super complex multi-effects units, the digital modeling, pedals trying to do absolutely everything, what does the TR2's enduring popularity tell us? This simple, tough, single-function analog pedal. What does its success say about the power of just elegant design, about reliability, about how timeless a perfectly done effect can be? What do you think musicians really value most in their sound shaping tools? Something to mull over.